Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 181.
The one with Thor, Love and Thunder.
This week on Cup of Rad. Hey everyone, and guess what? We're back, and it's summer. Summer is full swing, that's right.
It is actually summer.
It is. Summertime.
We even had a smidgen of summer weather. Just briefly.
Yeah, we had a heat wave.
Yeah.
And then we've had like really mild. This year's been really mild thus far.
Yeah, hasn't been too bad lately, which is good, but kind of weird. And all of a sudden it's like it's moving by. It's already, second week of July and
right, we're almost a quarter of the way through of summer. So that's pretty wild and crazy. So what's going on?
Well,
ding dong.
There's been some shows ended. We watched some movies. We're going camping. Like, that's really what we've been doing, like prepping for that type of stuff. So that's exciting. But that's been a lot of our focus right now, but trying to fit in things amongst other things. And not a lot other than just watching some of those few shows.
Well, the number one thing that you were excited about and that you put everything on pause for was
Stranger Things.
That's right.
July 1st, Stranger Things, had to make it happen. I was very excited to watch the end of it. So that was like, yes, it's a long weekend, but you know what's more important? It's Stranger Things. Phase Volume 2 or whatever.
It's just episode 8 and 9 or whatever it was.
But Volume 2 sounds fancy. Fancy Stranger Things.
It's how Netflix wants to break things up so that it doesn't seem like they're... It
doesn't seem like a delay.
Yeah.
It's just instead of like just episode 7 and 8 dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the movie length versions of these episodes came out.
Yeah, 90 minutes and 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we were up till midnight for it. We were like, yeah, we can do it. We can do this. We got this. What a finale it was. You know what? First off, I really did enjoy it. Like this whole season, I really did enjoy. We talked about it prior, how much we were enjoying it more than the prior seasons, the last couple seasons there. So overall, I did really enjoy it. But I think I would have been happier if it had ended and if it had been a little bit more serious.
Like ended.
Like ended, yeah. Because it was like I'm kind of in between with it. Where like I'm interested to see how they go with it, but it's like how is the next one going to be as exciting and thrilling, or is it going to feel a little too repetitive of like the same thing, the same bad guy that's just bigger, badder, learning from things type thing, or what, but overall there was a lot of positive changes and a lot of actually came about the different characters and history of things, and we did learn a lot, so I'm not really going to complain too much about that. But I was devastated with the people that did get hurt or die, but I was surprised on how little of death there really was.
Yeah.
I was expecting someone from basically every kind of group to die. So I was definitely surprised. Honestly, I was expecting Steve to die.
Yeah.
And it would have been absolutely devastating for me, but I was expecting it to happen.
Maybe season 5.
But maybe he'll bite the dust in the next one. But I think they were just setting him up to be too good of a guy. Mm-hmm. And then I just assumed that was going to get ripped out from underneath us. The pessimist in me, I'm like, yep, he's dying.
He's changed. He's becoming a good person.
He's a good person, so he must die, apparently. It's like, son of a bitch. So,
well, it does follow suit, though, when it comes to the show.
Yeah.
For the most part. Like, look at season 2. Sean Astin's character.
Yeah.
He was a good guy, right? But
and I mean, I was expecting Eddie was he took that spot, right?
He was a good guy.
He turned out to be the really good guy, and I really liked his character. You could tell early on that he was the good guy that was just in a bad situation, and then you make those assumptions, and then you kind of lean into what people think of you to try to get by,
Yeah, survival.
And so I really liked him and the way he was done from the beginning. And he just, that relationship with Dustin was just so heartwarming, and you're like, yeah, he's not going to ever be able to come out of this. Even if he survived, his world would have been changed completely, because there were so many people that still thought he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of he could control his fate, and while it was sad, it was the best for him. I think he's the most at peace for it, rather than having gone back and just been miserable and everything. So I was completely crying with his uncle, and I loved that they could have easily made it the stereotype of, we know his dad was obviously not the greatest guy, but that his uncle really did care about him. They could have made it that he was this terrible guy too.
Yeah.
And I like that he wasn't. Just because they lived in a trailer park, he wasn't this bad guy. Just because, Eddie was a little bit harder around the edges, he wasn't a bad relationship. He really cared about him, and he knew that he wasn't the problem, and that he still kept pushing through it. And that whole conversation with him and Dustin, oh my good gracious, I was crying.
Yeah.
That really made up for a lot of the there was a lot of good closure and emotion with that. That was really impressive. So
no, that's good.
What about you?
I really got a kick out of it. I like this season as a whole. Just that it felt more focused than 2 and 3, right? 3 I felt had a little more focus, but I feel almost like 2 and 3 were actually just one story, just kind of over. But no, everything really kind of played out really good, and a lot of like just kind of the creepiness and all that, and really finding out where Vecna came from, being that he was one that just kind of really the original kind of like science experiment for the company.
Yeah, it was, and it was kind of cool because no one knows where that came from though, right?
Yeah,
we still don't know any of the real history behind that.
Yeah. And just seeing also 11 coming through her powers and realizing she could do more, to be the hero and all that. So, and there were some good acting moments too. With Will struggling to tell, Mike his true feelings. And,
that was really hard.
Hide them behind, saying it was 11's feelings, right? And it was really his. Yeah. And...
Well, I like the look that his brother gave him. Yeah. There was so much compassion and caring for him. He couldn't say it to him because he knew that Will wouldn't be okay. Yeah. But to still show that he was there for him, I forget what a good guy he really is. And then when he has those moments of clarity, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, this is why, you were such a hero. Yeah. So. And
then, Argyle having pizza moment and
amazing,
showing that pineapple can be on pizza. It's just gonna be on good pizza.
I love that he was so stoned but so smart, and so in tune with the world. He wasn't baked out of his mind to the point where his brain didn't function. Yeah, he was just very relaxing, but he was very aware of his surroundings. Yeah, and he was so
very chill.
Yeah, very chill, and I loved his character.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great
he did such a good job. It was a good addition.
Yeah. And it wasn't annoying or but yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. I did feel like it should have ended, but I'm assuming that it's gonna have to then go into something bigger and badder because it just played right into what Papa had said to her, that she wasn't strong enough. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. That it was because she definitely wasn't. Yeah. I mean, she really kind of got her ass handed to her. Let's be honest. It took a lot for her to rally and come back from that. And
but she was also doing it telepathically, so
that is true, I guess. By all means, I'm not trying to make it seem like she wasn't strong. Yeah. I mean, so the idea though that what she could do in person, and because you had said, she needs to fight him in person. Yeah. Well,
that's when we were watching it. I was like, wait a minute.
She's not actually fighting him in person, though. She's not actually there.
It's going to be. So it was crazy to see that the Upside Down finally did break through into, the Hawkins. Yeah. Giant X through it and all that. So it'll be curious to see. Definitely going to be curious to see what happens in that next season. That is the final season. Yeah. So I know they said it's going to be shorter, but possibly longer episodes. So maybe they'll break it into 4 parts. Four episodes. 4 volumes. Over 4 volumes over a year. 2.5 hour movies.
Kill everyone. Yeah. There you go. But
that'd be good marketing.
It would be good. They'd be constantly having this whole stream of Stranger Things thing going on.
Each month for 4 months.
Now, will they be able to find that gold with the music thing like they found?
Well, they had, 3 this season?
Yeah.
Between Kate Bush, Metallica, and then the Journey remix.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, I can't believe it actually had me listening to Journey songs purposely on Spotify. And I was just like, I really do like this song, right?
Yeah. Well, that remix is just fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's super, super awesome. So
I did see that, and it was pretty funny, though, with debunking Eddie's great Metallica thing, though.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was the idea, like, the album came out on March 3rd, and spring breaks, near the end of March. So he had, like, maybe 2 weeks to learn how to play that.
Well, to our defense, some of the spring breaks are actually into April, near the end in the States. So maybe he had a few more weeks. When was Easter? In 86.
That's true. It's just funny to think that was a gripe.
Right? Like really? Like, you had to find that issue?
Was one of those ones where I was like, yeah. There's other things you could probably. But no, I got to kick out of Stranger Things.
He was that much of a fan.
It was, it was a good season. It actually made me excited to just go forward with it versus being kind of like, oh yeah, that Stranger Things show. Yeah. So that was cool.
It was a pleasant surprise to really be excited about it. Right. Because when was the last time I was like, yeah, it dropped. We're watching all of it now. Yeah. Like we don't normally stay up to midnight watching things. So.
Not at all.
Which was awesome.
Another show that ended was The Boyz. Mm-hmm. The Boyz. The final episode of The Boyz dropped for season 3. Mm-hmm. We knew there was a season 4 coming, so it was curious to see where this one was going to go. You got your big finale where you had Soldier Boy and Butcher gonna go take on Homelander.
Yeah, and they all the boys finally joined all back together again, and with Maeve in the mix as well. Yeah. And they were, this idea that they had this nerve gas that they had and then they didn't have, and
they're gonna try and knock Soldier Boy out because half the team wants to put him on ice because of what he is, because he's supposed to be a bad guy. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of character development this season for all characters. Yeah. You got a real big like
major development.
This is probably one of my favorite shows right now for sure. And it's each season's only like 8 episodes, mm-hmm. but like the amount that happened in this season was just pretty incredible.
Well, every episode really felt like a lot was going on. But yeah, every single person we learned a lot about history. We actually saw history. Them. Yeah, like a lot going on. Yeah. Homelander, even more, we did learn a lot about Soldier Boy. Yeah. Like there was a lot that they managed to fit in every episode.
A lot about Butcher too.
And yeah, definitely a lot about his childhood and what was going on. Yeah. Learning more about his brother.
Yeah. And trauma breeds trauma. Mm-hmm. What are humans good at? Generational trauma.
And when he told off Ryan. Yeah. And then now you see the backstory of things. And it's like, yeah, he really doesn't know how to do any different, right? Nope. Even his love is harsh. Yeah. Tough love. And you see that, and then you see the aftermath of everything that happened, and he pushed him literally right into Homelander's arms, and then you're just like, Butcher really is one of the bad guys of this franchise. Yeah. Without meaning to. He's an unintentional bad guy.
Yeah. Well, especially this season, it really came out more with him taking Temp V. Yeah. And all that. But I love the show. I loved it so much this season, but this last episode pissed me off.
You were mad at Butcher, weren't you?
I was so pissed off at Butcher.
You were actually yelling at the screen. That's normally my job.
I was, because, yeah, I get it. Soldier Boy hit Ryan, but you brought your gun to the fight, and it had a casualty that you didn't like. So then you tried to take it out.
Then you sabotaged your whole entire plan.
Yeah. So then it made this season almost like
pointless
for what they were trying to do to get rid of Homelander, which I know it wasn't pointless for the development that happened, but it was just that frustration of you gotta be kidding me. Like,
right. Well, now you made Homelander worse. Now he's got
you've made him stronger.
You made him stronger. Now he's got an ally that's like him.
And then
with the end of it, support of the public.
Yeah. His whole crazy cult following.
Like, right? I know that you see his family is falling behind, like all of bought. I mean, thank goodness Ashley actually showed a backbone on something and did the right choice for something. But yeah.
But at the same time, though, he's in bed with the one that wants to be the VP now.
True. She's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely scary.
Because she was brought up by
the guy.
Yeah, Edgar,
yeah.
Right? So it's just, like you said, though, when it ended, you were just like, this is too real life.
That was real life. This is like, oh, shitty things are happening. Guess what? More shitty things are happening. You thought it was going to get... You had that moment. We were like, how could it get worse? Oh, yeah. That's how it could get worse.
Yep.
And I was just like, yeah, this is real life in a TV show right now.
Right.
So on a positive, that was nice that Maeve can actually go and live her normal, like, actual life. That's really awesome. I'm hoping that Huey keeps his confident, like, his calm and not so...
I think he will.
So lost. So I
put the tempo down.
Yeah, right? I was really happy to see that development because he was really starting to irritate me. Because he was just so lost, and I felt bad for him, but he was just really lost on things. Yeah. And I like that development. Finally, it's like, oh my goodness, finally. So, I was very happy.
It was a really good show. I highly recommend it. And Ackles, I think, did a fantastic job holding his own as, Captain America, basically.
Oh yeah, totally.
The bad version of that, right? Like,
well, it's interesting too because he was always such a bad guy, but then some of the stuff that he was saying, compared to Homelander, he's an angel. Yeah, he's just a little bit hard around the edges, but he wasn't as evil as Homelander seems to be, right? Yeah. But at the same time, there's a maturity about him that makes their roughness different, right? Sounds funny. He's more of a man, and Homelander is still a 5-year-old boy. Yeah. So you just have a boy with this very huge power complex, opposed to a man who's coming into learning about stuff. You know? So, that's interesting, complex with that. Yeah. So,
I enjoyed it. As much as he didn't feel like Dean from Supernatural, he had his moments where he still was Dean. But when you play it for 15 years, but. All I could think about after was like when the government takes him is like, when are they going to bring out like the show like Peacemaker or like Suicide Squad, where it's his redemption spin-off series, right? Or like, driving a old car, saving people, killing soups, right? The Supernatural, right?
Supernatural version.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait for season 4. It's going to be a while, I know, but it's definitely going to be something to look forward to. I know there's not too many seasons left. I think 4 or 5 for them as well.
Oh, okay.
But they're on a time by time.
What do you
mean? They were just renewed.
Oh, like, so they only know every.
They were just renewed like after the 3rd episode of the season or the 4th episode of the season.
So that's why part of that space there. Yeah. Well, and then you had said too, they seem to jump a chunk of time between seasons, and with Butcher having cancer. Is it cancer, or we don't know what cancer? It's something.
No, it's from the Tempe.
I know, but it's from the Tempe. But whatever is actually wrong with him. I assumed it was a cancer, but we don't know. I know that they were talking about the cheese and the brain
rotting
issue. So, so we don't know if there's a certain time limit now involved with that as well.
So I could almost see season 4 being the end. Yeah. Right. And I'd be okay with that because
how much longer can they really stretch out Homelander being hunted, right? Yeah. There's not much more you can do the only way you'd be able to actually really extend it is if you took Homelander out and then made Ryan the problem. But I hope that they're going to be trying to bring Ryan back into a positive light.
Yeah, right? I would assume season 4 is going to focus mainly on that kind of battle between,
and Butcher making sure he gets his head on straight of what he's actually trying to focus on. Yeah, and not just assuming, Ryan will just make the right choice.
Yeah, and I can't just beat it out of him or just.
He's got to show him some acceptance. That's all Ryan really wants. And that's why he's going to Homelander, because Homelander's giving him what he wants.
Exactly.
You know, that's all he wanted from Butcher.
Right.
So.
But I definitely would love to get a Soldier Boy figure.
Yeah.
I said it before, but I'll say it again. So, you know what I did get? I got a couple new G.I. Joes.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of figures.
So the classified line, I found some on sale.
He's gone G.I. Joe crazy.
At a local place, and I got Flint, and I got a Cobra Trooper. They were all like dirt cheap compared to what prices are around.
Yeah.
And then the week before, I'd actually gotten Roadblock at TRU on clearance as well. So they're actually really good figures, and they're I'm excited because we're gonna go camping, so I'm gonna take them camping with us because they're still economical enough, but they're hardy enough that I can get them dirty compared to some of my other ones. Like some of my other ones I don't want to take outside and the muck and all that, and these I'll be able to be a little bit more like, okay, I'm gonna do this. They're gonna
the
get
detail
dirty.
on them is quite impressive.
Yeah, they're beautiful looking figures. Like the sculpting and the paint has actually been pretty solid, and the weapons and all accessories. So I've been looking at other ones and all that, and I'm like, yeah, I think I need to make sure I get the bad guys.
Yeah, I'm starting to get my list of all the.
I don't care as much about the Joes. I want the bad guys. I want the Vipers and all those, because then Roadblock and Flint can just go in there. There's a few. I want to get the Spirit Iron Knife, but I don't know why you haven't jumped on that. You
just want it for the Eagle.
You like.
For me, I know.
I'm surprised you didn't just want to buy it instantly for the Eagle. You're just like, oh, it comes with an Eagle. I'm in.
I'm out. Yeah.
I'm in. Like,
bring it on.
Right.
With an Eagle. Yeah.
Right. I'm surprised they didn't bring that out.
Right.
But no, there's a lot of cool ones coming out, and so that's pretty cool. Like I'd always liked the Snake Eyes and stuff that I'd gotten, but I just didn't get into the line, so a little further.
I was trying to keep him out of another line that I knew would be a black hole, and look where we found ourselves.
It's not a black hole.
You know what?
It's a beautiful hole.
Kiddo is on his side now. He's like, oh, you know, I should go to the store, and like, can I go to the store? And you know what Kiddo says? If you go, how is Mom gonna stop you?
Yeah.
So they just went while I was at work, and I was like, well, touche. He understands that, there's not much I can do.
That's true.
You know, we go to Toy Traders. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. That's pretty. Put it back.
Yeah.
And so then I come home, I'm eating dinner, and I look behind Mike, and there's 3 Joes sitting there battling it out among the stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
It was well done. Well played.
Well played.
So now movies.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the movies that I really wanted to see in theaters, but it just didn't work out with timing that we had, was the new Nic Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
And Pedro Pascal.
And so it showed up on pay-per-view, which I was very excited. On demand. Pay-per-view sounds funny, I guess, but it's on demand. So we were able to watch it at home, and I was so stoked. So we finally rented that and got to take a look at it, because it just seems strange.
Mm-hmm.
And Nic Cage, it's him playing himself in a fictional movie, which was just a really weird trip, reminding myself that this is not a biopic.
Yeah, it's a fictional
version of himself, referring to the real world things of him being an actor and playing all these different characters and
struggling with money
finances and
binding roles and
not wanting to give up. And I love how it talks so much about him working so hard. And he's like, you know, they say like it's just a problem that I'm in so many movies. Well, it's because it's my job. That's what I do, is I make movies. Mm-hmm. And then it got me looking back at his list. I'm like, my God, he's made 6 movies a year for the last 5 years. Like, no wonder people are like, oh my God, he's always working.
Yeah.
But when he needs to make money, then that's what happens.
Yeah, well, because he was in like serious debt. Like hardcore, like, you know, had to
sell off a whole bunch of stuff, right? So, so he's basically, because he's faced with all these problems.
Fun fact, we had found out, though, that he had owned Madame Delphine's home.
Yep.
And everyone that's owned that has had financial ruin.
Correct.
Every single person, business person.
That is a haunted establishment in New Orleans.
She was like a serial killer. They showed a fictional version of her in American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
The one that took place.
We stood outside the house, right?
Yeah, almost puked.
Yeah.
But she killed people and then she just up and disappeared. They don't ever know what happened to her.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
They think she fled the country. There's the rumors that she was killed in the house by the people that she had wronged, but the biggest one was that she fled the country and went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just disappeared.
So he was cursed, basically.
Yeah, everyone that's owned that property apparently has had some kind of financial ruin.
That's crazy.
So even when people try to like renovate it and do something else, so they it had the last people that had owned it, that had bought it from Nic Cage, had tried to renovate it and they ran out of money trying to renovate it, and then they were losing money because they couldn't finish it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So who knows what happened to it then?
Crazy.
Right.
Be curious to see his level of problems that he had before he had that house.
Yeah.
Or, what.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's a very good coincidence for something, right? If
could be, or it is evil.
Oh, I know, right? So, but I mean, we all know that there is actually haunted houses in New Orleans, so like very well could be. Yep. Makes sense. So,
but yeah, anyways.
But the movie, so he is, because he's broke and he's looking for something, he basically gets invited to a birthday party. He has $1 million for an appearance at this thing, and they're in Spain, and so it's this huge like fortress villa thing that he gets to, and I love how he is. He's so nonchalant when this guy picks him up in this boat, and it's just like blah blah. What am I gonna have to do? Blah blah blah. Who's this fancy guy? And Pedro Pascal is the one who picked him up, and it was just like, I'm Javi, was it? And I'm Javi. And he's just like, oh my goodness, and he's just so happy to see him. So Javi's a super fan. Yeah. And he wants to write a movie. And he has written a movie, and he wants Nic Cage to be able to read it. And he just worships everything about him. And but in the midst of that, he finds you find out that the CIA is looking for him because he's actually like a mob boss arms dealer, head of the family, and so they try to use him as an in to help find this girl that had been kidnapped from this other family. And so in the midst of this, you have him and Javi trying to make this friendship, and you finding out that he's actually like this really awesome guy, and it's like a buddy comedy of them writing a movie, and then you realize that they're talking about writing the movie the movie that you're watching. And that was just...
It was really weirdly meta-ly...
Right?
Weird.
And, it was...
heartwarming.
Yeah, it was...
And funny.
But it was just... wait a second. Oh, wait. They're going to say that they want this to happen. Oh, look what's happening. Yeah. And so you find out, that Javi, of course, is not the bad guy. And so then he's just really trying to actually help Nic Cage, trying to figure out where he's broken and help his family and do all these types of things. He really is just the super fan, and they just become these really good friends. Yeah. And it was just so trippy, but it was so much fun to see Nic Cage mock himself as himself. Right. Yeah.
No, it was a fantastic film, because it was so down to earth. But yeah, it's one of those ones where you watch and
Pascal did such a good job.
Yeah, you're watching and you're just kind of seeing it unfold, and it's just so strange.
Right. Well, I love how they made this joke about, we can't have, the idea of it just a straightforward action. And then they decide it's just going to be a straightforward action movie for the end of the movie. And then all of a sudden there's in the action, all of a sudden is there. And you're like, there was no action before. Yeah. And now that's what's happening. Yeah.
We can't just shift the pace. It was supposed to be a drama, serious drama, an adult drama. Study. Not one of those big action movies. And then it becomes this big action movie.
The best scene was them when they were on drugs.
When they took acid.
They took the acid.
To try to open up their mind, to try to figure out how to write. And then they start
getting all paranoid and trying to drive and
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was...
It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it, because it was just a strange trip that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
but it helped save his career, you know? So
yeah, apparently.
let's see if that really pans out in real life. Who knows? Maybe he'll be okay now.
Maybe.
But yeah, I was really enjoying that we got to watch it. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend it though.
Totally. It was totally worth watching.
It was a good adult drama.
Yeah.
With a little bit of action.
Yeah. And lots of humor. And now we got to the big event, the big movie. Big movie. Thor,
and now for the main event.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth Thor film. The only real character in the MCU to have 4 movies.
Yeah.
That aren't Avenger based.
Yeah.
So
which is actually really impressive.
So to have Chris Hemsworth back for the 4th time. So Love and Thunder, directed by Taika Waititi, back after Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same vein as Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's definitely the same vibe.
It's the big, bright, this is the spoiler-free moment. The big, bright, colorful action, goofball, 70s, early 80s sci-fi extravaganza.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of what worked in Ragnarok and continued it, and then like dialed it to 15 on the humor, and the quirkiness, and created a spectacle of sorts almost.
Yeah, and you know what? The corny humor mellowed out as time went on, as Thor learned and changed. So it did have more of its dramatic moments. It started out with just ridiculousness, and I did appreciate that it had its a little bit better flow with that a little bit later on with things, but it was definitely light and fluffy still.
Yeah. I as a whole though, I really like this film. I got a lot of kick in it. It was great watching the action and the character unfold, because I think that he's taken a character that was stuffy and kind of boring in the first 2 movies, more interesting in the Avengers films, and then made him more human and likable in these, and then especially going through the Infinity War and now this, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he's actually developing as a character, for better or worse. Thor is developing in a different way. Yeah. Right? Especially with these last 2. And this film really showed that extra development on another level of just realizing your place more and being accepting to your place.
Think he's developing as a better hero because he's finding, I think the best part of a hero is what you're fighting for. And I think for him, he just always grew up with, well, I'm supposed to fight things. Yeah. I'm just supposed to hit things. And that's how he was so much. Yeah. And between what has happened with Loki over the years and then, with Jane and finding that love and that acceptance, and as you say, that place, I think that's made him a better hero. Yeah. Because he has that reason of why he's fighting rather than just, I'm doing it because I'm supposed to. Yeah. No,
totally. But yeah, no, I got a kick out of it. I still think Ragnarok was probably a better Thor movie. Yeah. But that also had the chemistry of Loki and stuff like that in it. Right. So this was relying more on just Thor as a character. But I still really got a kick out of it.
I think, Ragnarok was a little bit more focused, I think, with things, but it was also, dealing with other characters that are no longer there, right? Exactly. So with Hulk even too. Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. It was definitely worth the excitement that I had. And then I realized how sad I am that I don't have Thor merch.
You know what? Yeah, okay, I get that. The one thing I was going to say is that Christian Bale has been my favorite Thor villain out of all the Thor movies because he actually felt scary. Yes. Right?
I agree. He did a really good job.
Because, he, out of everyone, trying to think about it, yes, Hela was there, but then she was taken over more by Suitor or whatever it was, the big flaming head. She was kind of scary, but
she was kind of scary. She was freaking terrifying.
Yeah, she was. But at the same time, she still had her charisma where she didn't really seem scary. it was more of just like the snapper fingers and okay, it's done.
Okay.
Right? Where like they're...
Well, because anyone that has a slight bit of humor is scarier when they're a villain, in my opinion. And she was almost too serious.
Yeah, and even like in Dark World, it was like lackluster for he was never scary. Malachi or whatever.
No, yeah.
He was just kind of like, he's forgettable as a dark elf, right? Yep. And even in like the first movie where it wasn't really, it was Loki, but it was like,
it was more of just like a world, rather than some specific threat.
Yeah, like an actual threat, like So,
but yeah, he did a really good job. He was, his acting was really on point for this. It was really enjoyable to see him.
Like I get he wasn't the gore of the comics, but at the same time, then go read the comics because nothing's like nothing in any of the movies. It's its own universe. Yeah, and I think that's what they're establishing is like, yes, there's going to be similarities to the comics.
This is gore from the MCU.
Yeah, right. So, but yes, Christian Bale, I think, did an excellent job just balancing off like the just deranged, tired, and broken human being. Yeah. That put all his faith in God's and only to have him slapped in the face with nothing from them.
Yeah, because if you put him in the place for that, you really understand how devastating that would really be. I can only imagine, I think of anyone having your faith in something and having it just not just finding out that it's wrong, but getting laughed at about it, getting it thrown in your face. Yeah. So I think they really gave a good reason as to why he was that way. Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, it was well done. I really enjoyed the movie. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. And then you can come back and listen to the rest of the episode.
Yeah, there you go.
So spoilers are ahead. And go.
Seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy at the beginning was fantastic because it made me realize how much I miss the Guardians. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to Volume 3 so much, and it's going to be sad when that's over. Right? Especially just the simple fact of like Nebula still just being a dick. Right? Right?
I love that whole scene with them when they're just kicking ass and trying so hard to fight, and then it's we're gonna call Thor into this, and then he just takes over the battle, and he's not trying to say that he saved everything. He's trying not to say that, but I love that they're just sitting there going like, yep, we're just gonna let him do his thing, whatever. Like
that whole scene reminded me of something from The Night Begins to Shine.
Yes.
Right, with the motorcycle bird things and like just coming in like the slow motion axe wielding, like
that's where he got his inspiration.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I like it.
Those only if they had been able to play that song.
Oh, my begins to shine. Someone please make that edit. God, that's fabulous. But yeah, I love Star-Lord when it's like we're gonna try to make it seem like it's we're sad that you're leaving, but whatever. And I love his attitude where it's just like, okay, yeah, we're gone. Bye. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. Thank God we're gone. We're free of him. Like, go off and do your own thing. We need our break. Yeah. Right. And, so it's funny to see that humor there. Like they're still very much the same Guardians, right?
Oh yeah. So, it's good to see them together again. I was worried with how Endgame hits, how that'll break the family up at all. But, just those little things.
Dude, you can't go marrying everyone on every planet. Someone on every planet.
Right?
Told you about not rushing into things.
Or like Groot getting, he gets sap on everything.
Right?
So just, yeah.
But like you had assumed that they were just in the very beginning.
Yep.
And that was the case, And I was wondering about that with like the outfit that it was showing him in with them, if it was going to be.
Oh, the Ravager Thor outfit.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting with Korg just telling the story and just bringing us up to date on that, which was kind of fun because then it was just a way to bridge the gap, and it was a good placement of it rather than like a good vehicle for it of bringing us up to date with him telling a story. And then the idea though that when a story is being told, it can be embellished or over the top too, right?
Yep.
You never know.
Yeah.
And so that was really interesting. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, totally, with the space Viking. Right?
Yep. So yeah. So now he's realized that Sif was in danger, so then that kickstarted him back to everything.
Yeah.
Going back to Asgard and all of that. So
meanwhile, we get to actually see that Jane is gotten cancer, and she finds out some stuff about Mew Mew, and
I was like, what? Mew Mew?
And Mjolnir. And
Mew Mew, I like it.
Goes to go find it, and she becomes the Mighty Thor. Right, so that was
kind of cool that we didn't actually see that all happen at the same time. I mean, I knew we knew that she was.
Yeah, but
it's like we didn't. It almost was living in Thor's shoes idea, where we got to see that same shock for it, and see her in battle. Like, I love that the hammer split into pieces. I thought that was a really cool feature about it, that it didn't actually heal it. Yeah. But it was just being held together by the power of it again. Yeah. And what a cool weapon that it could actually shoot out and then come back through people. Yeah. Like, damn, why didn't we think of that before type thing, right? So, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that one.
No. So Natalie Portman came back. I really liked her as in the role. She did a great job. You can tell that she was trying to find herself, being this was her first real big adventure as the Mighty Thor. So she was stumbling and struggling when it came to how she felt that she needed to act. And it's cool because it kind of like was the idea of what we all think we'd be and the realization that we're not nearly as fucking cool as we think we are. Right, because like everyone's like, throwing out catchphrases and thinking they just like, yeah, if I was a hero, I'd just be fucking badass and like blah blah. And then they're like,
wow, you dropped that.
They're like, eat my hammer, right? Yeah. And everyone's just like, no, right? And I think it's almost in the fact the film was making fun of the fans with that aspect, because that's what it is. It's basically like, this is, you guys think you're all badass, but you're all a bunch of pussies.
Wow.
Right? And
super intense, man.
No, but like, I think it's a cool,
not that intense,
cool idea
that you'd still stumble through it.
Yeah.
You'd still have the
right.
The
you can't just
be just
you
there.
just can't get powers and magically just be amazing,
how to be a superhero,
right? Yeah. That's like, when you look at the journey that, say, Thor's been on, he's been through 9 movies. Yeah. And he's just sort of becoming really the full hero.
Thousands of years old. Yeah. Dealt with so many problems. Yeah. In so many major battles. Yeah. And think about how much he stumbled before, that he could hit things, but he wasn't really good at being a hero. Yeah. And
so I think it was a good commentary on people. Right. So
I like that I think she was definitely worthy, because she obviously, even in her scientific studies, was trying to help out the world, learn different ways and that type of stuff. But I like that you find out that there was a magic love, power of love in Mew Mew. Yeah. And that it was imbued with the idea of making sure that it took care of her. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool, that he showed that he was able to pass on that protective kind of spell on the thing, no different than his dad had done. Yeah. And then that was the reason why it actually called to her in her hour of need, even though it ended up being something that was the downfall for it. But it was what she needed. And if anything, it probably let her go in with peace, because she would be able to do more something. Of acceptance. She was able to choose what was happening, right? So
I do love, though, in like the end battle, though, when Gore calls her Lady Thor.
Oh, that actually gave me all like goosebumps.
Right. And it was like, no, I'm fucking Mighty Thor. Like,
Or you can accept, you can call me Dr. Jane Foster. I was like, see, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it.
Like, that was just badass.
Yeah,
like,
that was so awesome.
Right? And the fact that she's actually the one that took him down.
Yeah.
At the end, I think was just...
Well, because with all of that happening, I actually got weirdly emotional when he gave all the kids powers and was trying, because he was actually doing a good job of being a role model.
Protecting.
He was protecting, he was trying to give them hope, but he was also not just being a shield, he was empowering them to actually help themselves. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool because yes, he was there and he was going to take the brunt of what needed to be done for defense and everything. Yeah. But the realization that people do need to fight some battles themselves, mm-hmm. even if it's a certain portion of something, and that he was actually gave them the strength and that hope and that power to do something. And I thought that was really cool. And I love the little scary lightning stuffed animal.
That was pretty hilarious.
Fantastic. And, but with all this happening and how badly he was just taken out, I was like, with her, the way she's feeling, she's going to show back up there. She's not going to just let this happen, and what good timing that was for sure for her to show up. So, yeah.
The goats were weird, but
screaming
funny,
goats.
But it's kind of like pulling off the internet sensation of screaming goats, right? Yeah.
He does have goats in the mythology.
No, I know.
So at least there's that.
So that made it.
I'm assuming that they might not scream in the mythology, but maybe there was mythology they did scream. Yeah. I know that he's supposed to eat the goats every day and they just regenerate. They're eternal goats. Yeah. So I like that there was a reason why he got them.
Space goats.
Because in the trailer, I'm like, where the hell did his goats finally come from? Right. Like, why would that have happened? Especially with Asgard being gone. Like, take your goats, no take backsies.
Right. What are other things you liked?
What are other things?
They're not gonna, Christian Bale as Gore. He just looked like he was having fun.
Yes.
Like, at the same time, though, he was actually felt like he was acting more, because some of the movies we've seen him in, he feels very stuck, right? And some of his older stuff, he felt like he was acting more, but this here, he felt like he was getting to just kind of let loose with his acting, and it had quite those moments of drama and power, but then he also had so many moments of just weird, you could tell that he was being corrupted. And when he shows up in the cage with the kids after they're telling the stories and all that about how Stormbreaker chopped off Thanos' head, and he rips off that snake's head, mm-hmm. and he's like, what, you guys you thought it was funny before, what's going on, why is it not funny now?
Hey, that was a legitimate question, actually.
And it was but the way he portrayed it, he was just so creepy, and right? I'd love to see him do more weird roles, because I think, and this takes me back a bit more to American Psycho, where he had that playful creepiness to him. Yeah. Right.
And we saw that new movie that he has coming out, the Amsterdam. Yeah. He has that same glee to him, mm-hmm. And if he's finding something that can actually bring him joy and make him happy. Yeah. Right. And because I was thoroughly impressed with him. I think because I really felt enveloped in the character. Yeah. I didn't see Christian Bale. I saw the character.
Yeah. Right? So. And I think that was something that was kind of cool, because a lot of the ones, they felt very forgettable. Right. Yeah.
So what'd you think of Omnipotent City? That was an awesome name. And mainly Zeus.
It was pretty interesting. Yeah. It was one of those ones where you want to pause when you get it, so you can start looking and see what's
because in the credits I was trying to look at some of the god names that were in there,
and those only would have been speaking roles, right?
or main focus on things or something, right? So not all the ones that were actually there,
because
some of them would have probably even been CG.
Bale, the god of
yes,
that's a good god.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think so overall. I think they did a good job with Zeus, only because he is a cocky asshole and he thinks he's amazing. Yeah. But it was the only problem that I really had was when Thor had asked about Thunderbolt. that then with him throwing it all around,
That was a little too much.
it went too far. Like,
oh yeah,
it could have been cut in half, and you would have had the same effect with him just saying no at the end than how long it had gone on.
yeah,
And that was the only part where I'm like, oh, this is so cheesy.
yeah,
You know, but at the same time, part of him, he can do whatever the hell he wants. And no one stands up to him. And so he can be a child.
yeah.
And that's how he is, right? So I kind of understand it, but as I say, it could have been cut in half and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
And, but I was devastated when Korg got hit. Oh my gracious. Yeah. So happy that he at least survived in face mode and then was able to somehow grow rocks back.
Yeah. Well, they took him back to the lava pit.
Oh, yeah, true. And then because rocks regenerate and repurpose themselves, right? So,
they met Dwayne.
I met this cool guy, cool dude named Dwayne, and yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Had a little lava,
he had a mustache, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, I liked that he was tied onto Valkyrie's head and had a mustache.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. So that was really cool. But I love that Thor didn't skip a beat and just chucked the bolt back at Zeus. And I was, at first I was like, holy crap, they killed Zeus. Like, what the hell?
Right.
Because there would have been definitely impacts, and there still going to be. But I liked that it showed that he didn't actually kill him, because the Thunderbolt shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to have.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to show that it didn't. And it was interesting then with that lead in with Hercules, right? So he looked cool.
Yeah, he looked like
the comics, which was really awesome.
You know, that's one thing that's interesting is, like, you notice that this phase, though, a lot of the like the final scenes just seem to be like introducing characters, less about like actual hints to upcoming movies. Right.
Well, this one could have been a hint to an upcoming movie.
Yeah.
But it used to be more of like
the grand story. The grand story, right? Like, this is solely
because right now there's not a grand story
that we know of.
Yeah.
Right. So,
they definitely have changed the way they really are, right?
So what do you think of the end credit scene that Jane got to Valhalla?
That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, okay, so when the end of it, after when they found Eternity, I was really hoping. So originally, when everything happened, when she showed up there, I'm like, okay, so are they going to be able to, make sure that Gore doesn't get into make his wish, and he's going to save her? Like, that's going to be the thing.
Yeah. And
then the more of it happening, and then he walked in, and I raised my fist and shook it at the screen, and I realized he was still going to get in there. And I had a moment where I thought, okay, well, now is he going to change his wish and wish her healthy? Then I realized that would have really not
gone against everything. Yeah,
it would have not fit, because it's one thing to have pulled him back from not wishing all the gods dead to where his actual wish now of bringing his daughter back, to have actually sacrificed that wish for someone else.
Yeah.
That he especially didn't know, would have been cheap. It would have totally ruined him as a character. Yeah. So when I thought about that, I was like, no, okay, this can't happen. But that's really sad that she's going to die. But also kind of a relief idea that there was a real consequence of what she had decided to do. And it gave more weight to her choice of picking up that hammer again, and her choice of making sure she was with him and made her last moments really count. Yeah. And it really shows her worthiness of that, of Mew Mew. Yeah. And of that title. And I thought that was really impressive. And it made a huge choice for Thor then to be, I liked his, where I'm going to die anyway, so why should I spend it with you? I'm going to spend it with someone I love.
Yeah, that was a great
That was so touching, right? And I think that helped Gore heal a bit, because that proof, though, that here was a god that obviously cared about others.
Someone else.
He could have easily been trying to fight and save himself, but it was just, no, this is what it is. I'm going to try to soothe her pain, and I'm going to go and love her, and I'm going to do what needs to be done right now. Yeah. And, after saving all these kids and doing all this stuff, like, he's made all these sacrifices. Yeah. And so that whole scene was just so touching. Mm-hmm. And so I loved, though, that she was able to then show up in Valhalla, because she
died a warrior's death.
Did die a warrior. You know, yes, the cancer was the root cause of it, but the cancer finally killed her because she had gone into battle.
Yeah.
So I love that. You have to die actually in the battle, not after the battle, and from wounds of it. Which is true, but so that was really cool to see that. So now it's that idea, okay, well, is there going to be some sort of like veil lifted idea, or is it just like, because you're not really supposed to be traveling between them at all, but you know, either way, she's at peace.
I think it gives that character more closure because she just kind of disappeared from the MCU, right? So I think this helps as much as, you know, it was awesome to see her play the mighty Thor. I think it just kind of will give that bookend closure. Yeah. I have to look up, but like, why does Gor's daughter have laser eyes?
Because he had said something about it, that she was she was born with the power of the god because she was born out of eternity, basically.
Oh, okay.
That's what I got from that assumption. Yeah. I don't know why she has laser eyes specifically. Yeah. But I think it's because of where she was actually from, because she's not actually her anymore, right? Yeah. It was something of a replica, basically born out of eternity. So she's like a daughter of the cosmos. Yeah. So
I'll have to look that up because I don't know what they're hinting.
That whole scene with him taking care of her was just hilarious. Yeah. And how intense she is, but
demon
gives him purpose. Yeah. You know, and it was, you know, Gore didn't get an actual redemption. Mm-hmm. He was just, there was a certain amount of him realizing that he was being infected and he was cursed. So, but I don't blame him, but he did still make that choice at some point to then let himself continue with that curse. But I was happy to see him go with some peace for things, that he knew that there wasn't, not all gods were selfish, because anyone that he had met before probably would have just laughed in his face and said, no, you can deal with it. Right. Yeah. And, so that was really touching. There was definitely some deep emotions there. Mm-hmm.
No, you know, I laughed a lot. I had a good time. It was bright and colorful. It definitely is in my top 3 for this phase. Mm-hmm. I haven't really placed everything yet. Like, I know my bottom ones, but you know, it's up there because I really did enjoy Multiverse of Madness and Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. So this is in that somewhere in that top agree. 3. The Spider-Man movies are right after that for sure. So
it was fun to see Valkyrie again in there too,
in action,
and both of her roles. You know, I think she does it well, but I thought it was funny that she's like, I need to get out of this. Like, I'm done with these the minutes, and then the Raven messages, and the meetings that could have been Raven messages. It's like, yes. Why was this not just an email?
Right.
So, totally, which was quite funny. But just wanting to get out and
I like that there's a lot of the dialogue was very human. As much as it might come across jokey and humorous, there was a lot of the dialogue feels more truly human than a lot of other movies. Yeah. Which I think was interesting because it can come across almost jokey. Yeah. But that's how we talk. Yeah. You know, we don't...
I enjoyed, you know, we talked so much about Thor developing over time, and I think seeing his, you know, especially thinking way back to the first movie and even the second one, as you talked about him being kind of stuffy and that importance that Jane actually is in his life, and how he's become so much more worthy and more of a hero and better for his love for her because she brought him a humanity aspect. And, you know, he does have that incredible power, but he could be, say, like Zeus and just hiding away and not using it to help anyone. Yeah. But, you know, he has that compassion and that love and that understanding, and he's involved in the world, and he cares about it. You know, he definitely cares about Asgard for sure, but he's there as a protector of so many people.
All the realms, right?
You know, and I know that a lot of Midgard, they were originally supposed to be peacekeepers technically around the different realms. And so he has a lot to try to carry on with that. But I think Jane really gave him a reason to do it, as I say, rather than why, you know, I'm just supposed to. Yeah. So, no, totally. So I really did enjoy that, and all his conversations with her. And it was really awesome to hear him finally telling her about this stuff that obviously he's waited 8 years to want to say and realize what he's pondered and gone through. So yeah, those shadow beasts, I forgot to say
that was pretty cool.
Those ones were pretty scary for sure. It was interesting that you could tell they were kind of spiders and insect-like, but you never really saw them, which makes sense, being shadow beasts. But those were... because he could move in shadows like that and just bounce around, definitely made him scary.
Yeah, exactly.
So well done on this again.
Yeah. So. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes for. I don't know if I want Waititi to do the 5th one at the same time. Like,
could be
too much.
Too much, yeah.
I think almost that the story needs to go the direction needs to go differently. As much as I enjoy his work, I think Waititi, as much as I enjoy Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, I think I want to see him doing more in his own independent world like he does. Well,
because it wouldn't be bad to have Thor a little bit more serious right now. You know?
He's going to need to be, especially with Hercules' battle. That's kind of right.
Yeah. So to bring him, we need to find a mix between what 2 and 3 feel, right? You know?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good movie. It was a good time. It was a great summer popcorn blockbuster. Where you just get to sit back and enjoy a laugh, some action, and some heart. So I had a lot of fun.
Fully recommend. Cups are full. So I guess we're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
Yeah, that's the end. This is the end.
Well, this is the end. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad.